Okay, folks, just get top of the hour. I see a couple of people coming on still, but that's fine. So morning, Kevin. And yeah, again, just morning to everybody who's on already, and I'm sure some others will join us as we go. There's Solomon all masked up. Morning, Solomon. So welcome all. So today we have Nozipho, who's going to be telling us her life stories. Mpulelo, morning. So yeah, we'll get underway shortly, but just quickly over to Lee to set the tone, and then we'll head into the morning. So Lee, over to you.
Well, welcome everybody. I wanted to just set the scene a bit, especially for Ndleka, who's joining us for the first time. Welcome. And just to say that we have been gathering together every morning, 8 o'clock, since the day before lockdown. And the idea of it was to build a platform for free-flowing conversation that would keep our attitudes and our mindsets positive, engaged, and looking for opportunities and possibilities rather than being dragged down by the circumstances. And part of what's has emerged, and we literally just go with the flow, with where the energy, where the focus of the group is, and we pick up the conversations as they come. And part of that has been being enriched by the stories of people who continue to come in and share with us. And just that's been an inspiring and really mind-blowing, really, that's, I just want to say, opportunity that we've had is to really delve into people's personal stories, not to the level that they feel comfortable sharing. So today we're listening to Nozipho's story, and so grateful that she is allowing us a glimpse into her life so that we can share and appreciate who she is. So over to you, Nozipho. Thank you so much.
Nozipho, we're really struggling with the sound this morning for some reason. I'm not too sure why, and you know, we unfortunately missing lots of what you're saying, and I'm really concerned it's going to miss the essence of your story if we continue like this. I'm not too sure how we can handle it, but I really don't want us to miss what you're trying to tell us. So perhaps we must, I don't know, Lee, what do you think? Should we just move off this for now and perhaps see if we can find another way of helping facilitate Nozipho's story?
Nozipho, I would hate to miss out on what you're saying. And actually, we are only getting every third or fourth word. So it feels like we giving you less than you know this really needs. So I'm thinking maybe it might just be the day, you know.
In the meantime, Ivan, are you able to hear me now?
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, okay. I have a burning question, and that question is, who do you listen to on the net to inspire you as to what to do in the future? Who are your number one, number two, and number three top inspirational, perhaps they're futurists, perhaps they're people who are absolute superstars in the world of business that you continually go back to just to hear what it is that they have to say? I'd love you to think about that and perhaps put that down in the chat, because if it's someone unusual, I'd like to actually link into them and see what they're about. I'm just very interested in all the different forms of theories that are going around, and I think we need to actually scrub 99.9% of them and find who the finest thinkers are in the world.
So what we are, so thank you everybody. So that's great. We'll resolve some technical problems with Nozipho. And so we've got just less than 15 minutes for the rest of our time together. And so the question that I'm wondering about is, we had this announcement on Sunday. We're in level 3 from Monday. How does that change your life? Does anything change in terms of what you do, in terms of how you think? And so I just put that out as a way of saying, where are we and what are we doing, given that we're at a different level from next week?
Great, thanks, Lee. Yeah, so I think there's the two questions, the one that Trevor asked just before we sort of cut down there, and then the one that Lee's asked now. So Trevor, I see you still online there. You're wanting to pick up?
Yeah, very much so. I spent the weekend thinking about us really entering into this level 3 and what it's going to do for all of us. And my thinking is that I believe the world has changed. And I see a large number of people, and I've been connected to them, who are just busy sitting on their thumbs and are not doing anything, telling me that they don't think the world has changed and that they think everything's going to go back to as it was before. So I've tapped into who are the finest minds in the world, and where do they see the world going? And they reckon only about 20% of how we used to operate prior to this lockdown and pre-COVID is perhaps going to be the same. This, what we're doing here, is where the future is. The Americans and those people who are smart have been doing it for the last 10 years. We've just discovered it now. I mean, that I'm so frightened by that, but I want to make certain that we actually take advantage of this. So two thoughts came to my mind. We are damn good and we are great at things that we are great at. We've heard that over the last 60 odd days. So I maintain that we should take what we're great at and form that as our defensive position in the world of life and business. But now we've got to become offensive. So I'm talking gameplay analogy, obviously because that's where we play, that you've got to play both on a defense, and Mpumelelo, you'll love this, and you've got to be attacking at the same time. So we've got to take a few long shots right from the back, and then we've got to run up and quickly get to the back, and we've got to do this quickly. Because we have to be in the marketplace before everyone else discovers what we're discovering here. And there are lots of people that are discovering this. So we've got to move very quickly. Defensive, offensive, do both is what my mind is thinking. And that's all that's consuming me at the moment. I'm looking to actually structure everything that I do in the offensive, defensive mode, yes.
Okay, so who wants to take the offensive and pick up on what Trevor's just said? So Mpumelelo, we pointed to you, so maybe we must come across to you first.
I guess Trevor will need to expand a little bit more as to what is this offensiveness and even defense. I understand the defense part, meaning take the things that you've been doing, rethink them so that you can solidify your position there. But possibly the offensive is more the creative part, that maybe out of the conversations we're having on this platform, we can sort of have an idea of what that would be, what would it look like given the changes that are happening in the world.
Great, thanks, Mpumelelo. I think we'll go across to the fighter in our group. So Cecile, let's find out what your offensive strategy is.
Well, I think my business has virtually changed in the last 2 months. So where I was doing telecoms, I'm doing very little telecom. So I'm on the offensive and I'm doing what the world needs now. And that is all the PPE products. So yeah, so my business has in the last 2 months has been all PPE products and about 10%. of what I used to do. So and I can't see that it's going to change in the next 18 months because all businesses are going to need the same things. So yeah, so I'm going to try and combine the two, but let's just see how it goes for now.
Great, thanks, Cecile. Mpho, what are your thoughts on the questions?
Trevor's question, I don't know if I understand it, but I think, Trevor, my mindset is also kind of moved into the future. And I've also become obsessed with this idea of, digitizing everything. So I'm also interested to know who everybody's looking to, for that information and that knowledge. So yeah, stage 3, Lee, listen, my wine is coming. That's all I'm gonna say.
Thanks, Mpho. I'm sure there are a few people with that sentiment as well. Lee, you were wanting to pick up then?
Yes, I just wanted to introduce my friend Irene. So Irene and I have been friends for, I don't know, Irene, if we can say 20 years, nearly over. Yeah, so it's great to have her on board this morning. I don't want to throw in the deep end, but I did wanted to say hi.
Hi, everybody. Good to meet you all. Meet you all.
Great.
Thanks, Lee.
Welcome, Irene. Nice to have you on board. Yes,
Thank you.
Let's go across to you.
My phone just started to ring, so if you can just...
Okay, we'll come back to you. Kevin, let's go across to you then.
Well, I'll put a few names in the chat as to Trevor's question. Respect to Lee's bit about level 3, I'm going to have to pass on that one. If I've been in the UK, I'm not really sure what your announcements, etc. are. So I'll pass on that one if it's okay.
Okay, and well, let's go back to your, the folk that you put in there, Bob Proctor, Eric Warr, and Robert Kiyosaki. I mean, what do you find them telling you, and what's the mindset that you get from listening to them?
If you've not listened to Bob Proctor, I mean, I saw him live a few years ago. He's not a spring chicken by any means, but he certainly tells a good story and is a great listen. And the other two are really in the networking industry, which is why I picked up on those.
Okay, great, thanks. Right, Stella, let's come across to you.
Morning, everybody. Yeah, so first of all, the change in my life, immediate change, is Monday. I can also go and buy some wine. But mostly, I think we need to know what are the changes in your customers' needs going forward. For me specifically, if I think of the mediation, there's a lot of people that's lost their jobs and not necessarily divorce agreements, but to focus on other things like, for instance, the maintenance agreements that might change to let people know that that's a possibility that they can make use of now, where their income has been affected. So I think it's quite important to adjust to what your customers needs, the changes in your customers are. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Stella. Sally, let's come across to you.
Okay, hi guys. Okay, so Trevor, very interesting question. I'm struggling to sort of understand the difference between offensive and defensive. So maybe we can continue that conversation. But just in the way the world is at the moment, and what level 3 means to me. So okay, apart from the fact that we can get wine next week, I think I for one have not been sitting doing nothing during this period. I've actually used this period quite constructively. And my business actually started taking off, which is awesome, because I think that is where the world is going. Everything is digital, and it's awesome. And I think for me, the more I meet with my clients and my customers, the more I understand what need is out there, and I can sort of tweak my service offerings as as needed. So that's that. And then the question about who you look up to, or sort of in terms of your mindset, that was also another one that I don't really sort of nothing really comes immediately to mind, but I do listen to a lot on the radio. It's like I jump between 702 and Jacaranda, and I pick up a lot of the things that the presenters say, and for me, a lot of the stuff that they say is coming up positive. But also, I think in my life at the moment, I'm busy with the Mind Power course with Robin Banks, and I think that for me it's going to change the way that I view things going forward. So I don't know, Ivan, I don't know if I contribute to anything. That's just my thoughts.
No, that's absolutely great. That's absolutely great, Sally. Thanks for that. Yeah. Jasper, are you noise free now?
That was a call from Sake Liga, recruiting more members. So well, I had to just postpone that call. But I think the issues on the table is a couple of things in terms of what are we preparing ourselves for in the future. And I think like Trevor and all of us, I'm giving a lot of thought to it without necessarily coming up with answers. I personally, I don't want to go down that lane because I'm sure we will have a difference of opinion. But I certainly believe things are not as it seems. And I'm just amazed at how in such a short space of time, the whole world cooperated in tying things down. So for me, there's something behind the scenes that will come out in weeks and months to come, because it absolutely doesn't make sense. But the reality is it's an indication of how things have already changed before we are now seeing the outworking of this change. So some forces to be have already decided there will be a new economy. What this new economy is, I'm not sure, because it looks like all the forces out there are deliberately working to destroy the middle class. And so I don't know what the new economy will look like. There's a couple of theories out on that one. For the immediate short term, I think with a lot of people who are currently in the middle class, they've almost got to the point of living their significance and being fairly comfortable with the means that they have to do the things that they like to do. And yet within a space of a couple of weeks and months, they've been reduced to the level of severe struggle, where it's about how do I fulfill my next need, keep my roof over my head, and put food in my tummy. So I think for quite a while we will have people that will be almost not destroyed, but severely impacted by, on the one hand, my mind is still at that level where I'm trying to be significant, where my reality is I need to put food on the table. And exactly how that will create opportunities for us, I'm still not sure. But whatever business of the future survive will have to certainly be flexible to meet the needs of the moment, yet not forget the fact that people's minds are in their significance and the bigger things. In terms of, I like following Peter Diamandis because he has the ability to see what's happening on the technology and then also to interpret it as to how it will play out and impact our lives and the economy. And then in a time such as this, I think groups like this is important because nobody knows everything. We are all just eyes and ears taking in information from our immediate world and then analyze it to the best of our ability from our frameworks, but then test it on platforms like this to see, are we on the right track, or are we challenged in some ways that we think? So personally, in my own mind, things on the one hand are very much in flux, and on the other hand, I'm getting more and more clearer that, on the importance of certain things that people need to hold on to, like the hope of other founder families have survived these extreme uncertain times, and they came out of it even stronger. So if we can tap into that mindset of the founders, who, in spite of uncertain circumstances, and a lot of people say, if we can just have political certainty, well, we won't have it, because they're as uncertain, as messed up in their own minds as anyone else. So the only certainty we create is first of all, the certainty we create for our own lives, and then secondly, the quality of the people we surround ourselves with. So that's my input for today.
Great, thanks, Jasper. Definitely worth the wait after your noisy interruption. So thanks for that. Nduleka, let's come across to you. Your first time on this morning. So what have you gotten yourself into? What are your thoughts?
Hi, everyone. Firstly, I'd like to say thank you. I'm so glad to be here. But I think, these past couple of weeks, I've realized the importance of the digital space. There's been so much to learn. And I feel like after all of this, if you come out without having given yourself time to listen to everything, to join platforms like these ones, then you really haven't done yourself any justice. I mean, I've learned so much. One of the one question that has been posed is, who do you look up to? And I think in terms of the digital space and moving your business this way, Lauren Dallas has been amazing. I've signed up to her courses. I've been listening to all her stuff on Future Females. It's been amazing. There's been so much to learn. So, I'm very positive about the outcome of this whole situation. I think I'm going to come out of this good. I think I've learned so much. There's so many things that I want to put into place. It really has been a huge learning curve. It's been amazing. And I'm glad I finally joined this, because I've enjoyed these platforms so much. There's so much motivation. There's so much inspiration. It takes us out of the victim space, feeling sorry for ourselves and things like that. We've come up, there's gifts, we've got things that we can do. Suddenly you sit there, you are making masks, there's so many talents that we have sort of ignored, and this time has just been about that, going back to our basics and doing the best that we can do with the situation. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Level 3, I can't wait to have my wine. Like Mpo said, I'm ready. So thank you.
Fantastic, thanks Nduleka, and welcome again. So Irene, let's come across to you. So the big question is, you're still going to be friends with Lee after this, or?
Most definitely. Yes, I work in education, so we've seen a huge shift. I head up 7 centers across the country where we have provided contact tutorials for almost 1,500 students, and within a week had to move that all online. So, but I think it has shifted us very quickly into the future of where education was going. It has just sped up everything, and I think this is the space that we will stay in now. So it shifted us into that space quite quickly and quite radically. But it's been a good move, and it's amazing how, even little ones of 5-6 years old are being taught online, and the future of education, as I say. And yes, I think possibly we're still going to see a shift back of all the hotspots back into levels 4 and 5 again. I don't think we we're out of that woods yet. I think the government has played this quite strategically by naming those hotspots, and I do see them going back to level 4 and 5, in my opinion. So I think it's still with us for quite a while.
Yeah, can't agree more. Yeah, thanks, Irene, and yeah, again, welcome. Right, who we're not gotten to. Solomon, let's come across to you.
Yeah, thinking about level 3 coming, it's exciting. I've got properties on the market and I've got lots of inquiries, and I have not been able to get people to go see those places. You know how nice it is for you to look for a house and all that, and then you actually want to use virtual method to actually see that house. So I'm excited that people are going to be having opportunity to experience those homes that are on the market and decide whether they want to buy the homes or not. So I'm looking forward to that, because it's not good to have clients that are just waiting and don't know what's happening, whether they're making decisions or not. And then as far as my work as well, I'm excited to see what the banks are going to be doing in terms of giving people bonds, approving them, giving them different kinds of rewards. And I'm looking forward to see what's going to happen. I'm just laughing normally into these situations, because where there's a will, there's a way, you know? Where there's situation challenging all of us, there's always this creativity that resonates within all of us to bring the solutions. So where is my passion for property actually? So lockdown has actually tested me. Yeah, that's it.
Great, thanks, Solomon. Donovan, let's get across to you. Donovan, are you with us? Okay, doesn't look
Sorry
like.
about that.
Yeah, there we go.
Hi. Yes, hi everyone. Yes, I was just thinking of reinventing myself. I'm in construction, and you know, with the construction industry, before the economy goes down, construction normally goes down first. And when things recover, construction is normally the last one to recover. So in a way, I'm forced to reinvent myself. I'm thinking of doing things more online, you know, using software, etc. Specific for the question.
Sure. Okay, Donovan, we seem to be having lots of sound issues this morning, so we're struggling a bit to hear you as well. Let's go across to Nazipo and see if we can get a final word or two that we can hear from Nazipo, and then I think we'll wrap up for this morning.
Hi, I think for me, I'm assuming the sound is. I think for me, I was just saying that with level 3 starting on the 1st, take Thursday and Friday off, because it's really been about work. I felt I actually work more now than I was working prior to lockdown. And the part about it is, because you're working at home, I find myself at 9 p.m. switching on my laptop again and sitting. So to work, I've jumped onto the online mode as quickly as we could in project last week, which I went on to when lockdown started. And so I'm exhausted. And you know, you become even more exhausted when there's no wine to keep you company. So I'm gonna be able to handle the exhaustion better after level 3. I'm looking forward to a new way of life, and I'm with Trevor. For me, I think everything has changed. I'm in the training space, and I don't see myself being comfortable going to the normal training as we've been used to, you know, in the future. So I really see myself moving along this platform. I was just saying to someone that now that we're going on to level 3, what a pity, because I now really, really, really enjoy working from home. Yeah, I'm looking forward to jumping onto level 3, and I can see Trevor there. Yeah, Trevor. Thank you. Thanks.
Okay, thanks, Nazipo. Right, let's just go back to Lee for a quick wrap up, and then I think we'll end off for this morning. Lee.
Well, I think this conversation just made me realize that we've got to come back here. There's a lot I think we need to dig into in terms of where is our thinking about the future. I think that's a big topic. And for those of us, we really need to, and I think, what Jesper was saying about this is an ideal platform to explore our own thinking and to test some ideas. So, and I don't mean it just from a business perspective, but from our own understanding of who is it that we're going to be going into the future. What is our lifestyle? What are our lives generally going to look like? What are the choices that we are going to make in relation to what others may or may not dictate in terms of what that future looks like? So I think this is going to be a really good conversation to pick up again. And thanks for everybody for diving in the deep end and getting thinking. And it's only Tuesday. But Nozipho, I'm going to leave you in Trevor and Ivan's hands. And I've got another meeting now. And hopefully you can sort out the technical issues. As I say, I sometimes feel like the ether has its own mind. I'm convinced that technology has a mind of its own, and so it may just be the day, but if there is something you can sort out, then we look forward to hearing your story tomorrow. In fact, now it's like a preview, and we are definitely all going to be here tomorrow. So thanks everybody for being here, and we look forward to seeing you tomorrow.
Great, thanks Lee, thanks everyone, fantastic day further, see you tomorrow. Cheers now.